So I guess I'll just start right in on your area of expertise, bike porn. It's a relatively new genre, which many people say is recognizing the beauty and sensuality of bikes in ways that have hitherto been ignored or suppressed. And all positive things for bikes. But you disagree. Why is that?
Well, you see, it's hard because they're partially right. We do want to recognize, to celebrate the sensual side of bikes and the beauty they've retained despite years of being seen as purely utilitarian things at the service of human beings. But conceptualizing the bike as an object of human desire, which the majority of bike porn does, as an object acted upon by human actors, doesn't do much to transcend the domination and objectification inherent in the rider-ridden dichotomy.
You bring up the term object. Much of your argument against this form rests on the concept of objectification. But isn't a bike an object just by virtue of its physical existence?
Well, are you an object? I could touch you and find out. No. Let's see. The concept of objectification has to do with a definition of some entity or class solely on the basis of its use value by some other dominant class. They're treated as a means to an end, whether the means is transportation or human sexual gratification, rather than as an end in themselves. Their own desires and autonomy are wholly disregarded in creating a bike more fit for satisfying human desires.
But humans make bikes.
Humans make babies as well.
Well, that can hardly be...
Well, bikes are brought into being full-formed, adult, if you will. When our babies attain adulthood, we give them self-determination as a matter of course. Usually.
Okay, well, say a rider...
I actually try to avoid the term ride or rider. I'm sure you can see how that conveys a use relationship, a dominance relationship. Again, denying agency to the bike.
Well, what do you prefer?
Cyclist is generally the term I use for the human partner, or cycling for the activity.
Now, isn't that terminology reactionary, privileging the bike over the human?
That strikes me as an alarming non sequitur. Bikes don't know how to talk. There's no such thing as discrimination. Language, as far as we know, is irrelevant to bicycles. Or perhaps that's not the case. Perhaps they have their own semiotics, their own ways of referring to us when they think we're not listening. Anyway, if you hear the word cycling and you perceive cycling as something humans do to bicycles, you're ignoring what's really going on. The act of cycling is by nature a dialectic. And in eroticizing that dialectic, the bike pornographers are, on one level, exploring our relationship with technology in new and, well, exciting ways. At least that's the argument that can be made. I think that's a bit indulgent myself. I contend that these filmmakers are seeking to reify their own fantasies about the bicycle as an other that exists simply to fulfill and yes, transport them. Whether bikes actually enjoy this, or whether it simply alienates them from the discourse of their own erotic lives, that we cannot know.
Well, Doctor, we're almost out of time. I have one parting question. Supporters of bike porn have said that the emergence of bike porn as a major genre is a sign of more bike-positive culture, and that the criticism of academics like yourself misses the point entirely. How do you respond to that?
I certainly wouldn't want to be considered, in a sense, not bike-positive. I think it's clear that the relationship between bike and human, or two humans in the case of tandems, and the activity of cycling itself is an important part of what it is to be a whole, healthy bike, or person. It's been demonstrated that both bikes and humans deteriorate physically when they're inactive, prevented from realizing their natural, if you will, desire to cycle. But for cycling to be truly the experience that it could be, the bike must be invited to be a full partner in the endeavor. Further objectifying bikes as passive receivers of human lusts does not create an environment of mutual fulfillment, and that is harmful to human and bicycle alike.
Very interesting. Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Thank you.